Hey, how's it going? This is Daniel Kraus. This is my little behind the scenes for the Immortal Legacy of Agthia. This experience was based on Agthia's repose in the Shadowlands. I thought it was a really cool area when I was playing, so I decided to contribute a little bit to it. So basically, I tried to recreate it as much as I could using assets available by default. I tried to import custom things, but it was pretty difficult, and there was a lot of errors that were popping up, and I was looking in the forums, couldn't find anything. So I just decided to recreate Agthia's repose as best as I could using the models that are currently in. So yeah, the first thing I did before doing anything was I needed to recreate the area, because this is different from my previous projects because the area was already pre-made. So I just needed to recreate that. So that was step number one. And that was, just basically as simple as, taking units, taking objects and just placing them down. Second thing I did was I needed to come up with some sort of story that would fit the theme. So I came up with, there's this, there's one of the people here that doesn't want to follow the rules that everybody else is following in Bastion. So she's basically struggling with that. And she, the player helps figure them out in the end. So, these contemplative students are all trying to figure themselves out. She is kind of resistant to that. So that was kind of the base of the story. Then I fleshed it out. I divided that into stages, basically meaning like, what are going to be the in-betweens, in between player input. So the player needs to do this, and then this will happen, then they need to do this. Basically just dividing it into sub-quests, mini quests to make up the whole quest chain. And once I did that, I just implemented it. And I implemented it in the trigger editor, which is the visual scripting thing that the Warcraft 3 world editor has. So these are all the variables I used for quests, dialogue. You can see there's array of booleans, quest requirements. Then I just did triggers, which is basically just miscellaneous triggers. Third person setup. The third person camera was kind of hard because this is meant to be a top down RTS game, but I manipulated it so you can actually play it like a third person game using the arrow keys, unfortunately, but it's better than nothing, right? And then here's the quests here. It's kind of similar to the scenes in my Finding Lancelot behind the scenes video, but this is divided into quests instead. So yeah, there's start messages, and then there's the in progress ones, and then there's the one when it ends. Here's acquiring items. I basically just categorized every sort of major thing I needed. Here's the abilities for the player, because this is more like an actual gameplay sort of experience compared to Finding Lancelot. So there's going to be abilities, there's going to be health bars, all sorts of XP stuff. And, just simulating World of Warcraft and RPGs in general as much as possible. So there's the triggers. Let's look at the asset manager. These are just some more sounds. I actually might have an no, these are just all MP3s. And I took these abilities from World of Warcraft this is supposed to mimic it, right? So I took these icons. I got the Shadowlands loading screen just to make it a little bit more immersive. Object editor. Here's custom editors. All the custom units I had to make. The stewards, the attendants, Shade of Forgotten Titan. That's what I just thought of that as a name. Oh yeah, and plus a little Easter egg here, little Arthas. If you did play this, you'll see Arthas if you climb up the mountain. But yeah, that's basically it. I actually there is a scene in here where there's like a little flashback thing where you're hearing events from the past, and I actually took the audio from the various World of Warcraft cinematics and I just blended them together in a nice little audio montage, and that's what I used for that scene. It happens around here, and you can see I did not show this in the Finding Lancelot video, but there is a regions. Here we go. And you can see all these regions are basically just like trigger boxes, essentially collision boxes. and they show up as blue. See if we can, yeah, there we go. Control R shows them. So yeah, these are the various trigger boxes I used. And so whenever you walk into them or whenever you hit a button when you're in them, it'll do something depending on a bunch of conditions. But yeah, that's basically it. I hope you learned something. I hope you learn more about my process, and I'll see you next time.